Hey Eurovision fans, Ziferblat will represent Ukraine in Eurovision 2025 with their song Bird of Prey. I'm going to listen and react to the live performance, give you my analysis of the artist, the song and the staging, and see could this get Ukraine their 5th top 6 finish in a row at Eurovision. So let's kiki. Hi, my name is Tom. I'm an Irish Eurovision analyst, and you can find all of this stuff on my Eurovision channel. So if you want to see my very first reaction to this song, I did a reaction video to all of the finalists of Vidbir. My main memory from that is that there was one part of the song that was really beautiful and another part that was flatter. I'm sure I'll refresh my memory when I see the live performance. I didn't watch Vidbir, so this is going to be my first time actually seeing their live show and how they perform it and all of the staging. Generally, I like Vidbir. I think it's well produced. I like that they have English commentary. For me, it's just way too long. It is a very long show. Also because I was covering UMK as well, so there were 2 finals going on at once. Okay, before we check out the performance, let's find out a tiny bit about Ziferblat. They are Daniel, Valentin and Fedir. They've been going since 2015. They were in Vidbir last year where they won the jury, which I think was a little bit of a surprise. And then they ended up coming 2nd overall because they were 4th with the televote. So I have to admit they were not on my radar before the show. And then suddenly they did extremely well. They've come back immediately the next year to try again. So they're super keen, giving me the impression that they really want to go to Eurovision. This was one of the songs that had a full proper music video done for it. And also they're one of the very few artists this year who've actually contacted me in terms of publicity saying our song has been released, please check out the music video. I had the same thing last year with Yaktak, but generally I get only like 1 or 2 requests from national final artists each year, so it's super rare. So yeah, there's lots of signs for me here that they're super keen to represent Ukraine and be on the Eurovision stage. Okay, so I'm going to be reacting to the live performance from Vidbir. Of course, I will leave as much of the original audio and visuals in as I can. If I do need to make changes, I'll put the original up onto my Patreon. Okay, very excited for this. This is Ziferblat singing Bird of Prey, When I Know My Secret Bang. Ooh, really nice graphics. I like how they've got different fonts for all the letters of Ziferblat. Yes, that's the bit I liked. Oh, that's a lovely beginning. I love that line with a kind of sunset effect on it. Oh wow, they've got like a full ass proper... Oh wow, it starts kind of snappy after that opening. Oh, I like his costume. Do I like his costume? Yeah, it's giving me a bit of a 60s retro feel. And you know what, he's making this verse work a little bit more for me because of his voice. He's giving it some little inflections. I still think this is the weakest part of the song. It does feel the flattest of all. But this flower garden is so cool. This is a lovely bridge. It's so jilting and smooth. Yeah, I like his voice live. He's giving it more charisma. He's giving it rougher edges. Okay, I hope there's a little bit more movement. It's a little bit static right now. I do like these sky in the background. That is gorgeous. What a wonderful hook. It's very mysterious and angelic. He's moving. He's got a bit of pulp to him. Jarvis Cocker. Is he Jarvis Cocker's son? Yeah, like a little bit more movement from the backing dancers maybe. This is good. I do like this bridge. It's actually quite pretty. The crowd don't look like they're living, gotta be real. Okay, this is nice, and we get a little bit of a change up in the color, in the mood of the song, getting a little bit of adapters going on. That's good, just mixing it up. Yeah, this is working for me so far. This feels like elevation. That's great, perfect. That spotlight him. He's got a quirkiness in how he sings that's endearing. I do want a little bit more eye contact. Oh, some close-ups of flowers. This is nice. Do you know what, this song, I'm enjoying it more live. And I like we're switching colors now. We're into a teal, these kind of darkish teals. I want that hook back again now. That's my favorite part. We're gonna get one more then? Do it now. Thank you. Perfect way to end the song. And this opening of that sunrise again. Oh, wonderful. And her vocals are so clean. She needs to be featured. And that slow pan in on him. Oh, that's really good. I don't know. Do you know what? I was expecting something so worse because this has had such a super gloomy reception on social media. So I was kind of expecting it to be like a big flop fest. I thought that was really enjoyable. That was a huge elevation for me from the music video because my main thing that stuck out in the music video was these kind of really flat verses which just weren't working for me, and that lovely hook which I picked out straight away, which was right at the start of the song. But yeah, he gave layers to that. He made the chorus feel less flat for me because he's got this quirkiness to him. I was looking at his outfit, I was looking at how he turns his head, I was looking at his hair being a little bit messy and how he closes his eyes. He's got a tiny bit of that Salvador Sobral in how he sings. Is he Daniel? Lead singer is Daniel, the guitarist is Valentin, and the drummer's Vidbir. Let's start with the staging. I thought that staging was really, really great. I love this idea of this small garden that they're in with this beautiful sunset behind, and we have these darker moments. That the silhouette moment was really, really, really cool. Love that kind of cupping of light around his body. I just think they created a world, just us being in that tiny little garden, these beautiful ombres on the LEDs with some clouds. I'm not saying it can't be elevated, but I think that's a really, really great starting point. Like, this is already going to be very, very different from everybody else in the semi-final. And then on top of that, visually, it also feels very unique as well. Ukraine always elevates, so I'm expecting this to be even better. But I like this nature world. The ladies at the back, maybe we can get a few more close-ups of them. Maybe they can do a little bit more. I feel like they kind of decide, are they in or are they out? It's like, you know, either commit to them being in the performance and have them a little bit more prominent, or kind of put them more to the side so they're a little bit less distracting. Because my eye was wandering to them, going like, oh, are they going to do something? Are they going to move to the side, clap or something? Maybe involve them more or less, just pick a side, I think. Styling wise, I thought what he was wearing was really interesting. It did give me that feel to the 60s, which I felt like their song last year was a little bit Beatles. So I kind of like that vibe that they've got. I like the lead singer, he's got quirkiness. I would maybe like a tiny bit more eye contact. It doesn't have to be throughout the whole song, because I do like that he goes into his own little world and he's closing his eyes. He's in his own little planet like Salvador Sobral was. But I do think if you're in your own little world, just snapping back and making eye contact with the camera can actually be like, whoa. Especially if he does it at certain moments. Like when those flashlights came in, that'd be a great time to just pop a quick glance towards the camera and kind of shake people. It's also for just building a connection with the people at home. I'm going to go for a super quick second look, just to see if there's anything else about the staging I can pick up. That opening 10 seconds is totally magic. His head turn with the light on him, divine. So I just did a quick second listen. He does actually make eye contact at the end, and it is quite good for building a connection. I just wish he did a couple earlier times as well. Daniel, I just wish he bent his legs a little bit. His legs are straight throughout the whole thing. I'd love to see him just get down a couple of times, particularly in that first verse, which I do feel is the weakest point in the whole song. I'd love to see him just move around, distract a little bit, take our attention away from the fact that maybe that's just not the strongest part of the song. A little bit more choreography for Daniel in some parts, and the ladies at the back. Just give him a tiny bit of a storyline. There's one lady who's doing this beautiful vocal, which is divine. The other two, just want them to have a little bit more to do. Love the styling on Valentin and Vidbir as well. There were a couple of images where they're flashing over flowers. I don't know if that works, but I do love these ones where they're looking up through the flowers at Daniel. That's really cool. It makes you feel like I'm watching a performance in a field or something. And it just totally takes me away and transports me to something different. And I just think that's going to make this feel super, super different from everybody else who's in the semi-final. We'll talk a little bit later about semi-final number 1 and who are its rivals in terms of qualification. Another staging consideration is Tana Mwino going to come in case you don't know, she's a world famous artistic director. She did the music video for Call Me By My Name. In my opinion, is one of the best music videos of all time. Last year, she came in with Jerry Hale and Aliona. I don't know who organized that. I don't know if Tana wanted to come in or if someone contacted her from the delegation or from the artists. So I don't know who instigated that relationship and how long lasting it's going to be. But I would love Tana to come in as well. That would be amazing. This starting point is already really cool. It's almost like a children's TV show set in the 60s. It's giving me like comfort, nostalgia feeling. I'd love Tana to come in and give her impression of that as well. But we know that the Ukrainian delegation have a fabulous record for staging, so I don't need Tana, but that would just be like an extra cherry on the cake. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the song now. This really elevated for me staging wise. Like I said, the parts that dragged, I felt like Daniel did a really good job in elevating it, and also the drum and the guitar sounded live. I don't know if that was on playback or if they're actually playing them live, but it gave it just a little bit more layering for me that made it easier to sit through. I actually enjoyed that song way more than I did in my reaction video. Fair play to them for elevating. The key point for me is definitely that female vocal coming in. It really gives me a sense of a soaring eagle. So it's super evocative, and that's going to be the key moment in the staging, is to tie that in with something happening, which they did. The last one, they had this beautiful opening of the back of the stage to reveal this sunset. So I think they're very aware that that is the wow moment, and they need something wow visually to happen all the times that it happens. In terms of the lyrics of the song, I love the title, Bird of Prey. In case you don't know, bird of prey, P-R-E-Y, is a bird who eats other animals, like an eagle or a hawk or a falcon or a condor. But they've spelled it P-R-A-Y, which is prey as in I go pray at church. So this is a really interesting poem, which I've never seen before, implying a mix of like some sort of eagle who's also a symbol for spirituality or religion. It's really, really, really cool pun. I hope it's on purpose and not just a spelling mistake. That would be quite unfortunate if they just spelt it wrong. Reading through the lyrics, I'm getting a sense that this bird is like a savior, a salvation for him. I do think there's some iconic lyrics here, like I'm begging you is something I really picked out in the chorus. Let's read through the chorus. Fly bird, I'm begging you please just live, share my heart with someone who cares of me and my little bird of prey, P-R-A-Y. Yeah, so some lovely lyrics here. Nothing incredibly wow, but also like these are fresh lyrics. I've never seen these before. I have to admit it is quite sparse in terms of lyrics. Like that thing I read, we get that several times, and then there's one 4-line verse at the start and there's not much else. So pretty hard to pick out what the deeper meaning of this song is because there's not very much data to look through. But overall, yeah, I love that title. I think many people are going to see that and go, oh wow, that's interesting. That stopped me in my tracks when I did my reaction video. And if I was a casual person watching Eurovision, watching these songs in Eurovision for the first time, I would stop and go, oh wow, Bird of Prey, I want to check this out. I haven't heard anything about revamps. I'm not sure if they're intending to do one. Just thinking historically, Goe revamped Solveig and Shum. Stephanie, I don't know. Maybe a small one, I can't remember. Heart of Steel had a revamp where they added in Ukrainian. Alyon and Jerry Hale, I don't think I remember one. So yeah, I don't really associate Ukraine with definitely doing revamps. If there was going to be anything changed, it would be those verses where it just feels a little bit flat. Although I think they did a great job of making it more interesting live. I also love this variety that we're getting from Ukraine. If we go backwards, so this year we have this indie rock song, and then last year we had Jerry and Alyona with a pop song with a rap. Then we had Tvorchi with a kind of electronic pop sound, Kalish Orchestra with folk rap, Goe Shum with electro folk. Like there's just Melvin with more of a standard pop song, O Torvald with a rock song. There's just so much variety here. It's showing off all the different places in the Ukrainian music scene. And I think this is one of the reasons that they do so well, is that they kind of surprise you each year. Whereas other countries like, well, I won't name names, but you kind of get the same song or same genre of music every single year. And it gets a little bit predictable. Most casuals don't notice, but some of them do, that this is similar to what was done before. Whereas Ukraine, I think you get something different every year. I think that's one of their secret weapons. Okay, now let's go to one of the big conversations. Is this going to qualify? Personally, I think this is going to qualify quite easily, but this seems to be a big discussion in the community. Oh, Ukraine aren't going to qualify. This isn't something that's just directed towards Ukraine. The other countries who are also super successful at qualifying, Serbia, Sweden, Norway, have a similar thing where if they've got a song that's less obviously super strong, quite a lot of people like to pile on them and say, oh, they're not qualifying this year. I think part of it is that people want to be the one who predicted that a big streak would end. And then there's also people who just want to see the underdogs qualify, and the people who always qualify have not qualified that year. Yeah, but me personally, there is no evidence for me at this point in time that Ukraine is not going to qualify. If you look at their qualification record, so first of all, Ukraine have a 100% qualification record. The only country left in the contest other than Luxembourg, who are 1 out of 1, which is not as impressive as 14 out of 14. So Ukraine are the only country left with a 100% qualification record in more than 5 contests. We used to have Azerbaijan, Russia, and Romania, who all 3 of them lost their qualification records in 2018. 2018 was a very unusual year. It was also the only year where more people qualified from the first half of the semi-final than the second half. So 2018 was really weird. But yes, Ukraine are the only ones left standing. I think eventually they're going to lose their record, and it's not going to be the end of the world when they do. You know, not qualifying 1 year is not terrible. There's no evidence for me that that's going to start now. Ukraine have never been outside the top 8 in a semi-final, so they've never even been 9th or 10th, not even close to not qualifying. I think this song has got a lot of unique things to it. Super different sound, super different vibe. The staging's really different. It's performed very, very well. This team is super motivated. Like I said, they've entered 2 years in a row. They contacted me about PR. They want to be here. So they're going to be putting forward their best effort. They're not going to like sit down and do nothing. I feel like they'll feel a big responsibility to represent their country, not let people down, particularly when you're in Vidbir, which is such a competitive national final. I don't think anyone wants to win Vidbir and then go to Eurovision and do a bad job, because then I think you're also letting down the people who are in the final who really, really wanted to go and you took their place. The last 3 years, Ukraine have qualified second, first, and second in their semi-final. Some people say that it's because there's more solidarity votes since 2022, but 2021 they were second in their semi-final. Melvin was sixth, Jamala was second, Maria Yaremchuk was fifth. Like, you just look at this record. When there was no solidarity, they were still qualifying in the top six pretty much every single year. The last time they came eighth was Gaetana in 2012. Since then, they've been top six 7 times in a row in the semi-final. So look, Ukraine always elevate. They always deserve their place in the final, in my opinion, because I think they send really good artists, really good songs. They take it really seriously, and their delegation is so good. I think this Ukrainian delegation really know what they're doing. They pick the right people. They get good fashion. They get good artistic direction. Their LEDs are clean. The staging concept is fun. They've got a story on stage. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I just cannot see enough evidence right now that they will not qualify. The one way it could happen is just the fact it's so different to song that people might be like, okay, this is a little bit out there. But like, let's look at their semi-final right now. Who here is like them? Clemen isn't. Shkoda Electronic is so different. Mama Gama, I don't know from Azerbaijan what their song is going to be, but Azerbaijan are on such a terrible trajectory right now that I just don't think they're competition for Ukraine. Ukraine are like top of the table. Ukraine are like almost down at the bottom. 2 non-qualifications in a row. A lot of people are kind of guessing that they'll non-qualify again. Then we've got Red Sebastian, totally different. Theo Evan is going dark dancey pop, also different. Claude is going for bouncy pop in French and English. No one else is going to be like this. It's going to be totally unique in its semi-final. It is in the first half, which has an 11% less chance of qualifying. Ukraine don't need that. They're just super, super strong. So yeah, it's super premature. I'm not saying it's impossible, but if you said I had to bet on this now, I would 100% bet on them qualifying. This song definitely won't open the semi-final. It could potentially be drawn second. Last year, Ukraine were drawn fifth in their semi-final and then second in the final. So I do think they're probably owed a little bit of a better draw this year. But then again, the producers have no problem putting Albania second a lot. So maybe they don't care about what happened last year. Okay, let's talk about what this could potentially do when it makes the final. I think televote-wise, yes, I think there's still a lot of support and solidarity for Ukraine. I don't see this as a massive televote song. I definitely think it will appeal to that kind of family vote, the type of people who voted for Leonore, where there's this like really cool, lovely, family-friendly song. Like I said, the staging to me reminds me of a children's show. It's very comforting and calm and gives it like a real PG feel. So yeah, I'm expecting this will do okay with the televote, but I'm not expecting it to be like really super high up, getting the same amount of points that Jerry and Aliona got last year. Jury wise though, I can definitely see this being contender. It sang really well. It's got that live feel. I think the jury love associating themselves with these high quality indie acts. But yeah, I could see this getting top 10 in the jury on its own because it really does have a class to it and it's very unique. I really don't think this is going to have any competition for this type of sound because we just get so few indie songs. Maybe Guitarsis from Lithuania, but their song feels much darker. It looks much darker in the LEDs and the staging. So I feel that's got a totally different mood, even though they are both indie songs. And I feel like that's a bit more rock, whereas this is a little bit more indie pop. Okay, let's go check out the odds, and we can see that Ukraine are currently sitting in 14th place, having previously been in 5th. So yeah, not too surprising. For me, this has absolutely no chance to win. I still think it could potentially do well. Who knows? If everything goes right, this could get into the top 10. But yeah, winning for me is just not possible. I don't think the song is strong enough. I think they would need to make a lot more risks with the staging if they wanted to potentially be winners. But it's not all about winning, it's also about just qualifying and representing yourself in the final. So I still think this is a really lovely entry, and it continues on this really interesting set of chapters in Ukraine's entries. Okay, let's have a look at the Eurovision scoreboard, which I'm guessing is not going to be super warm towards this. Like I said, the reception on Twitter has been a little bit lukewarm. This is not the type of song I associate with the Twitter community and the Eurovision scoreboard community. It's currently sitting at 10th, ahead of Montenegro and Slovenia. Indie songs from men in general tend to do worse on the Eurovision scoreboard. Not totally surprising. The public who actually vote at Eurovision tend to enjoy these more than the Eurofans do, so I wouldn't panic at this point. I also think that the standard's pretty high this year. I know lots of people saying they think it's a weak year. I think this is a pretty good song. I'm looking at all these songs and all of them have a pretty distinct personality and they're all good performances pretty decent songs. I'm happy with this year so far. Okay, that's everything that I thought about Ziferblat singing Bird of Prey. What did you think? Please leave me a comment in the comment section down below. Thank you to those who've been supporting me on PayPal and Buy Me Coffee. If you want to support the channel, I'll leave a link for you here. And of course, thank you to all my wonderful patrons for patronizing me from all around the world. On my Patreon, you can get the original audio, early releases, you can be in the credits, you can support the channel, you can watch videos with no ads. Go check it out if you're a fan. But of course, thank you so much just for being here. And I hope to see you in another Eurovision analysis video very, 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 very soon. Goodbye.